Chairman. Last week I was in Afghanistan. One of the things you don't get in the media, and I had extensive, just Ambassador and General out a lot of the troops in the mess, that type of way to do. And I made a statement, pretty strong, because of the rumor out there, perhaps to the Korea withdrawal of 2000. They're accelerating. He had some story about this. This disasters, if we heard for 12 and 2000, will be, in his words, moments as Africa continue to grow, transition to the Afghan and the police. Do you agree that with him in that statement?
We have very careful in which we made our positions based. There are many nations that cut, and no decision has been made. Voices in the decision going forward.
Appreciate the views condensed also in statement, which I appreciate here. As I said to you before, frailties in the hearing, whether the Republican really matters. People who are by him are going to support his. And this puts it, for example, one of the that he has done in when he was a commitment and that hasn't. He has made effort to do that. And if you agree to close, you probably, the president said, agree to that. I want you to find, and I ask most of you to do this. Look, the expeditionary complex that we're into, the his trials that place, the tribunals that place there. The reason I say is because their discussion about is consider that great asset we have, which is one of the fields that this, as we had Gitmo, they go 4,000 here, and they forget about every other. It's a pretty good deal. But the complex, one that really disturbs about releasing the combatants who at the 20th December 2011 of the 99 at least 67, we can dock return to, that's 80%. Really disturbing mistake. While this not been able to, he's tried to keep stopping it. But now there's of the 5 Taliban are talking about this time. We said in the Senate Armistice Committee that the Secretary of the certify before the release, and the certificate process is complicated. He said it has to, the released combatant is designated serve terrorism, maintain over each facility as facing it. Well, put him in a very situation to what I'd like you share feelings of Gitmo policy that's right now, but its future and 5 combat they're talking about in the
So under my mission, I have new over detainee options in the world to Guantanamo. Confirmed be part of my ability, very serious concerns that I to certainly with the general at the issues the 5 detainees and come with your view and we should move and coming to some.
Yeah, I think that we do it too. That would be looking at the ability of maybe bringing more into Guantanamo Bay. There's one who admits since 2000. In the recidivist, I just over what you're thinking.
I would certainly to confine and have understanding of your concern and working with the in the administration to look at that.
Okay, that really all at this time resource we're using again. People are because we're not usually. You mentioned your open Africa. That was kind of a thing that I was interested in. It was before it was a different command. You're in Central. Very well. Back from and Stuttgart, their headquarters. A couple there's effort by members say take that from this case and state. I would have you talk to General about what it must be. I feel he would have actually indicated Ethiopia place on the however all of their I actually talked of the country that would accept never sell it to that. You think about going colonial, that type of thing. So, the commitment committee will look at resources, hamhead, and make sure our attention. It's been for a long that it's a squeeze, and there is. I'm going to Africa, Djibouti. That this committee to commit work with and establish aids. They can get their own need as it comes. Agree with Africa.
Sir, I have that Africa has been a successful commit in my job. I've had the with General very impressive. My commitment firmed. I'd love to come in for how we might work with.
And I want to get to on record. I think I know what it is. Some of the programs, security assistance and programs, in my faith, I met program and equip very successful there. There was, as I talked to you about before, that we can, and I'm a patient doing them. In fact, we don't, and I'm talking training the officer in the United States, do that, then Allegiant is our want to make those programs strong way, not just training FM, some of the other.
Senator, there are high-level defense completely on there, and they're what we high building part capacity that help us the world.
Senator, I agree. I confirm I'm working with you.
That's good. It's expired. For the recommendations, having our new modernization, Dr. Hicks, we're very much about it. Know that about a new stream, which commitments were administered to sustainabilization and nuclear, and is more and more significant now. And so, ask him some big questions. Record that issue very much.
Thank you, Inhofe.